Ndamukong Suh has decided to take his talents to South Beach to play for the Miami Dolphins, leaving the Detroit Lions with a giant hole in the middle of their defense. Therefore, they went shopping early in free agency for Suh's replacement, and they've tapped former Baltimore Ravens defensive tackle Haloti Ngata to fill that void. How will Ngata make the transition to the Motor City? Turin Davenport is an NFL columnist and Baltimore Ravens beat writer for the Baltimore Times, and he joined me recently to give his perspective on the topic. Haloti Ngata was expendable in Baltimore because of a bloated contract, which was set to count $16 million against the Ravens' salary cap. With that said, Ngata comes in as the replacement for Ndamukong Suh. Can you tell me what sort of a player are the Lions getting in Ngata?
Yeah, certainly. The Ravens, as you mentioned, had Haloti Ngata. They were trying to get him to redo his deal. He refused to do it. His cap number was extremely high, and they were up against it because of multiple contracts. You had Ladarius Webb, whose contract was a high number as well, as far as the cap's concerned this year. Fortunately for the Ravens, the Lions lost out on the Ndamukong Suh sweepstakes, and he went to Miami, and there was a gaping hole, and then another connection. And that's one thing you'll see when you're looking at a lot of personnel moves with the NFL. Everything is so interrelated, and it's all about relationships. And it just so happened that the Lions defensive coordinator, Terrell Austin, used to coach with the Ravens, and the familiarity was there, and that's how it really came about. You know, they were looking to either trade Ngata or release him, and that's why the fourth and fifth round picks, that was, some may think that was inadequate compensation, but at the end of the day, you have to realize this is a team that was just going to lose him for nothing and still have that $8 million count against the cap. So they were able to clear up cap room, get a couple draft picks, mid-round picks that Ozzie Newsome really loves, and that's really how it came about.
And can you tell me, I know he's 31, and for the Lions, he's the replacement for Ndamukong Suh. So can you tell me how much you think he has left to give the Lions, and what kind of a player are they getting in Ngata?
Well, I honestly think that Ngata fits into that scheme even better than Ndamukong Suh does. Granted, you have the age difference. Obviously, Ngata is older than Suh, but you look at what you want your D tackles to do. You want a guy that could fill up two gaps, and it's very easy for Ngata to occupy two linemen. He could definitely occupy two blockers. And he's a guy that is very athletic as well. He may not get you the sack numbers that Ndamukong Suh gets you, but when it comes to being stout against the run and freeing up lanes for other guys like a Ziggy Ansah, that's where his value is. So they're getting a player that is very athletic. I remember a few times in training camp seeing this guy go back and field punts. It wasn't anything serious, but he was fielding punts just for fun in the beginning of practice. That just shows you when you have a guy that's 6'3", 355 pounds, able to catch punts with ease, that's a clear athlete. So he's a very athletic defensive tackle, a bigger tackle, and he's somebody that will really fill the void that was left by Ndamukong Suh very well.
And tell me, what sort of community guy is he, and what can the Lions expect from a leadership perspective within the locker room? I know he was suspended for 4 games because of an Adderall suspension last year. So what do you think he learned from the suspension, and what can the Lions expect from a leadership perspective?
That suspension last year was more or less a blip on the radar. I mean, he's not a guy that will have too many off the field issues. Actually, he won't have any. I mean, I've done a few community events with him. He actually did a luau right on the harbor in Baltimore, and he fed a whole lot of people for the luau. But more importantly, he gave 11 teachers large amounts of money, large checks to recognize them for their outstanding service. So the guy is definitely a community guy. He has a foundation that is based off of just getting people familiar with the Polynesian culture. You know, when you go to his luau, he did a performance, you know, and it was really awesome. I mean, the guy is, you look at somebody that big and you would think that and even just the way he looks, like he has a certain scowl type of look to him. He's somebody that, not knowing him, you would think that he was a mean guy, but he couldn't be a nicer person. I mean, first time I met him, you know, I walk in and he's singing a Caribbean song. You know, he's singing a reggae song on the stage with a Hawaiian shirt on, a pair of silk pants, and no shoes. And, you know, that was the first time I met him off of the field, and we got to talk a lot. And he's a very much of a family type of guy. He's somebody that will be a leader in that locker room, but on the quiet side of things. He's somebody that you just go and you watch him work, and you watch the way he carries himself. That's how he is a leader. He's somebody that leads by example more than talking.
And during his 9 seasons in Baltimore, I know that he was on the team when both Lions head coach Jim Caldwell was the offensive coordinator there in Baltimore, and Terrell Austin was the defensive back coach for Baltimore for 3 seasons. So I'm wondering if you could tell me how you think the familiarity with those 2 coaches in particular will help him transition here to Detroit.
Well, he's somebody that's going to transition regardless, but definitely with Terrell Austin having coached in the same defense with him, you know, and Austin, I'm sure, has his own principles and his own beliefs and concepts as far as defense is concerned. But just the familiarity as far as just from coach to player, I think is there. But Ngata is a guy that you could plug into multiple schemes. I mean, he's somebody, even last year, technically, well, the way it looked, he was at defensive end, but the guy was actually a defensive tackle. You're lining up in the same spot as far as, you know, just on the outside shoulder of the guard. So it's still, in effect, a tackle position. So he's playing a similar position in the way that the Lions are going to run things. So I think Ngata will be fine moving into Detroit, into their scheme, and he'll be somebody that defense is going to benefit from having him. I guarantee you that the linebackers play is going to step up even more. And then, like I mentioned, Ziggy Ansah earlier, he's going to help out a guy like Ziggy because Ngata is going to occupy 2 blockers. You can't just block him with one person. You know, you need 2 guys to block him. Otherwise, he will push the pocket right back into the quarterback's lap. And that's really the kryptonite for any quarterback. And you look at their division that they're in, Aaron Rodgers is a guy that's the one thing that you could do to him that's really going to give him fits. And that's why the Bills did a very good job against the Packers when they played. If you push that pocket right back into his lap, it's going to make him struggle. So Ngata is going to benefit in that way as well.
I'm Kevin McShane for the Two Man Advantage Podcast.